Hi. Oops. I had my symbols. Hi. Hey. Hello. It's Skycatlive. What's up, guys? It's 11:13 in the morning. March 17th, 2026. It's 68 degrees in my house and a Tuesday. Yeah, and just trying to sell things. Yep, there we go. And then so I'm gonna go back and log. I'm gonna drop it off the big face here. Sorry about that. I'm just like thinking about what I'm doing. There we go. Hi guys, I love you. Last night I watched, I don't know, like an hour of one battle after another on stream by accident, which is crazy. But there was no viewership, so I guess nobody banned me. But I watched a major Hollywood blockbuster on my stream last night for an hour, which is insane. And nobody said shit because nobody's watching. And I actually really like that. It's actually a benefit. It's kind of crazy. It's like, nah, nobody was watching anyways. It wasn't my fault, you could tell. But yeah, like, sorry, it was my fault, but it's like, but I didn't even know. Oh, kitty, you want to go outside? Okay. Yeah, you can go outside. It's not raining. Yeah, you ready? Alright. Enjoy. Okay. There we go. And now, I am checking storage and pulling out. No, I'm not. I'm receiving, am I? Yeah, I'm receiving. No, I did it, huh? Oh, yeah, I received and I went and sold stuff, so... Okay. Who's that sound? Oh, yeah.
What do you require?
I guess I'll cook this.
Embrace the shadow.
It is more money, but it needs to be easy like this.
What do you require?
Sometimes I think I would rather go back to either FFXI retail or just Mortal Online 2 it fit my third slot with something. Like, maybe I should just sub my main Mortal account and use GeForce Now to play Mortal. And put FFXI and EvE in the background. Oh good, this local's still empty. I'm going to take advantage of it. We're going to make some money out here. Gotta read the militia chat.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Okay. Twitch. Kick. I'm gonna change back to World of Warcraft. Classic hardcore. Save. Sometimes I think about quitting Twitch. I make money off Twitch, and it was a lot of work to build this, but I don't like the censorship that Twitch engages in. And sometimes I think about throwing this all away. It's all a bunch of inflated fucking followers anyways. 3458, that's all inflated anyways. It's the real number is like 1700 or something like that because I got hate rated. Fucking dumb. Like, there's no viewers. I guess there is. There's like viewers, but it's like, you know, but it's just sort of interesting. It's like, and I think part of this is I'm not allowed to be myself on this site, and I don't need the money that you guys send me. I like it, and it helps me support my family, and it makes life much easier for me if you guys buy me games. But I don't think I like Twitch anymore, and I might just throw away my Twitch soon. Because there's censorship. I can't watch movies, I can't listen to music. I don't know if YouTube, I guess YouTube cares. Yeah, I mean, YouTube cares to censor the videos, they do. I can't have a YouTube recording career and not be affected by DMCA. It's just really annoying, which is why I'm on all the sites, but that's alright. Let's go see what's happening in the world today. The burnt peanut situation got even worse from Pyro Live. Randy Walters is a son of a bitch from OG Afro Man. Oh, run the stop sign, wreck it, Randy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Afro Man is at war with the local cops in his town. I love the American tuxedos. I love Afro Man. I think he's so good. don't know if you guys are aware, but Afroman, the old rapper, is currently in a war with the local cops in his town. I don't know if I can listen to this without DMCA is the problem. Yeah, I believe it is like a licensed song. Trans women are getting too bad. I don't recommend channel. Your obvious hatred fucking video. Dubai is completely fine. Jon Stewart invites panel of Trumps to debate Iran war. Panel of Trumps? Oh yeah, it's like a comedy routine. Secretary of Housing and Urban Planning towards a new urbanization. This is weird. Don't recommend this channel either because I'll never be able to understand what they're saying. Dubai is completely fine. We'll load Pyro. Fuck it. What do I care? Is Iran's Supreme Leader still alive? Oh yeah, there's a new Nor Jasmine. AOC. We're adding new 3K. Amazon warehouse employees were forced outside. Wow, I'm sure that went over well. Talk. That's probably enough for the day.
And then he says to me, if it doesn't do dollars, we're gonna lay off 1,000 people, and that's gonna be on you.
You know where eggs come from?
Chickens. Chickens.
Oh my god, bro.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3, be on you.
You know where eggs come from?
Chickens. Chickens.
Oh my god. Eggs come from?
Gonna lay off 1,000 people, and that's gonna be on you.
You know where eggs come from?
Chickens. Chickens.
Oh my god, bro.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. What's up? This is Jeff from the Overwatch team.
Overwatch, a absolutely beloved game. I even started out some of my earliest videos on the main channel by doing Overwatch content. That's back when the game had a huge player base. Obviously, there's been a lot of things that have happened since then, most notably Overwatch 2, which was an absolute disaster. But one person that was always at the helm of Overwatch was co-creator Jeff Kaplan, not to be confused with the My Name Jeff man.
My name is Jeff.
Now, My Name Jeff ended up leaving Overwatch all the way back in 2021, and he kept a pretty private life, but now recently he's resurfaced on the Lex Friedman podcast for over 5 hours talking about his departure and how much the company sucks and Overwatch is basically finished. Now, a lot of people attribute Overwatch's success to Jeff, most likely because after he left, Overwatch 2 came out, and he actually published a short statement on the game's website. He didn't really go into any details about the circumstances of leaving though, and he also ended the statement by saying GG, and all I'll say in response to that is holy base boomer. So recently, like I said, he appeared in the Lex Friedman podcast, but loads of clips from that podcast were going incredibly viral because he was talking about what ultimately broke his Blizzard career. And he tells a story where he was called to the CFO's office, who basically told him, hey, if this game doesn't make like an insane amount of money that isn't possible for any game to achieve, we're gonna like punish you indirectly because we can't actually hurt you by laying off 1,000 people. And if that wasn't direct enough, they even said, apparently, that that's going to be on you. Those people that are going to lose their jobs, those 1,000 people, that's your fault. They might go homeless. They might start an OnlyFans, and it's all your fault.
I got called in the CFO's office. He sits me down. He gives me a date, which at the time was 2020 and was going to slip to 2021, but at the time it was 2020. And he said, Overwatch has to make in 2020. And then every year after that, it needs a recurring revenue of. And then he says to me, if it doesn't do we're gonna lay off 1,000 people, and that's gonna be on you. And that was just the biggest fuck you moment I had in my career.
Warp drive active.
This survey will take 3 minutes, and your responses are confidential. Before we ask the real questions, we need to quickly capture a few details. And here comes your first question. We'd like to start with your age and gender. If you are under 18 years of age, press 1. If you are between 18 and 34 years of age, please press 2. If you identify as male, please press 1. If you identify as female, please press 2. Or press 3 if you identify as other. Do you agree or disagree that Australia exports too much gas? Organisations raise money and encourage gas companies to supply more gas to Australians.
I got a fart fetish, so probably the one that's more gas. All right, cheers, mate. Okay, we're back. I do find it insane how Blizzard's reputation is just absolutely in the toilet right now. It's so easy for people to say EA is the worst company in the world, but I've never heard a good thing from Activision. I mean, the closest creator I can think of in this space who has ties to Activision Blizzard is Pirate Software, and his reputation at the minute isn't doing too great. Now, he actually said that Overwatch 2 wasn't what killed the game, but instead Overwatch League. And that was basically Overwatch's attempt at doing an esports league. And as many YouTubers have probably said in their videos, despite being disgustingly rich, esports teams never work out. They never end up being profitable.
What would have been correct was to do more world events, like keep it going. But the major derail was Overwatch League. We thought it was like the future of esports and doing regional based teams, ensuring minimum player salaries and player protections. Like there was a lot of very good about Overwatch League.
You know, became associated with particular cities.
Yes.
And it'd be international, it'd be real competition. So the dream, the ambition was really huge there.
Now, they didn't just want like a small esports team or an esports league. They basically wanted to compete with the NFL. That is how inflated their egos were about this. They wanted city-based teams, a franchise system, regular season schedule.
There were all these stories about like shady teams, you know, screwing their players over. Where it got away from us was there was a lot of excitement about Overwatch League, like too much so, and then it got over-marketed to the people buying the teams. They went on this road show where they had a deck basically, and like you can put anything in a deck and sell anything. And they were pretty much selling the Brooklyn Bridge that Overwatch League was going to be more popular than the NFL. And we got a bunch of billionaire investors in these teams.
Hey, you want to go see the NFL this weekend? No, honey. I'm going to be sat in front of my 1080p monitor that I think is totally okay for me and watching the Overwatch League. Now, I know a lot of people have controversial opinions about Overwatch when the game died. Most people, again, do cite it as Overwatch 2. I think the game died as soon as they didn't remove Zarya off the roster permanently. All right, I can feel people hovering over the dislike on this opinion, mostly because I was a Roadhog main as well. But why would you have a character that has an insane amount of health and also has a bubble shield that makes them invulnerable, that has a cooldown of like 3 seconds so they can just end up spamming it constantly?
Yeah, I don't like, right? Yeah, I really didn't,
do cite it as Overwatch 2. I think the game died as soon as they didn't remove Zarya off the roster.
Yeah, I think, I don't, for me, it's Junkrat. It was always Junkrat. Everybody's got, see, for him, it's Zarya. And I have the same complaint about Zarya, like World of Warcraft Paladins. People who have invincibility are fucking overpowered. They're overpowered. Red Pally is overpowered. Holy Paladin is far too overpowered for Arena. When Holy Paladin came in, season 2, or what, I'm saying, well, it was always there. It was season 1, but it took a couple of years for people to realize that a Holy Paladin with a Ret Paladin, 2 of them can go invincible for 5 whole seconds every 2 to 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes or something, I forget. But it's fucking stupid. So throughout a match, you would see both paladins, and then after a while, all you would see is TSG, which is trained squishy guy. It would be Holy Paladin Frosty K, and Ret Paladin, and it was shitty. And if you try to kill any of them, 2 of them would go invincible for 5 whole seconds, which is just insane. That's what DPS windows in WoW are. Invincibility is so fucking stupid. Invincibility is fucking stupid in video games. Any developer that's willing to do it is fucking stupid, including Blizzard. It's fucking stupid, especially in PvP games. Fucking stupid. Invincibility is fucking stupid. It's the sort of thing you would do with a cheat code. It's not something you would ever allow in your fucking game, even for 5 seconds. It broke the mold that they were willing to do it. And other games have this, like Final Fantasy 11 lets Paladin go invincible for 45 seconds, and by invincible I mean to physical, only physical. So spells go right through and kill his ass, right? But anything physical, he can just bulwark or whatever, and he becomes like this physical metal shell of armor, and they can just wail on it. He phalanxes basically for like 45 fucking seconds, and it does mitigate all physical damage, all of it. He's just there in a shell with his shield over him or something is what I always imagined it as. And that is a valid thing if it's sword fights and magic and stuff, and he just domes down like a turtle, and you're like bashing axes on him, and it's not doing anything because it's a heavy metal shield. Like, you know, that is by all intents and purposes basically invincible to physical blows. Like, that's why they wore plate armor in the olden days. So it sort of made sense in Final Fantasy 11, but it was because the spells still got through, so it wasn't complete invincibility. So I respect Final Fantasy 11 Paladin, but my biggest issue with WoW is invincibility. Like those fucking bubbles. After fighting TSG, Trained Squishy Guy, for fucking 10 years. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to tank, like as a disc priest, you're clothy, and you're like a wet piece of toilet paper. And then I don't know if you've ever tried to tank like a Frosty K and a Ret Paladin who just threw wings, and a Frosty K that burns all of their fucking cooldowns, so they're invincible, draining health, and they're fucking crazy damage, just as much as or more than a Ret Paladin, because it's a 2-hander, and Ret Paladin's usually 1-hand, I think. And it's just fucking crazy, like that much damage. And so you pop up pain suppression, and you pop holy fire, and you pop PI, which is power infusion, and while you're taking 40% less damage, you're frantically trying to get a bubble and a renew and a fear off really quick with your power infusion. Start busting flash heals that take like 1.4 seconds for them, the opportunity for them to kick or stop. And then you tank for a really long time. And that's Disc Priest in Arena. But I mean, the real problem is that in itself is fine. I'm not complaining about that. I didn't say anything negative about it, did I? What sucks is the flow of the combat changes in Arena, and this is why I don't do Arena anymore. And you go back, and Overwatch is like this too. The flow of the combat changes, and then your team should naturally, because you outlived their crazy push, you make yours, right? This is how it always goes in Arena. It's like the first time they act cocky, you're not like that. They jump you. You pop cooldowns, and as the Disc Priest, you outlive the first TSG push, right? It doesn't matter what your team is either. They all go like this, because TSG is a whole different thing about cheating with invincibility. And so, right, and so that's the first thing. So then you bust your cooldowns. You're like, all right, guys, it's all right, guys, I lived. And they're like, okay, we're gonna go hit and then your team goes, okay, we're gonna go hit the healer, and they go hit the healer. Therein lies the retardation and the fucking idiocy that has dominated Blizz and the fucking corporate live service gaming culture for years. The Holy Paladin bubbles, right? That's not the same thing as pain suppression. Pain suppression is 40% damage mitigation. That's 60% less than what the Paladin gets, which is complete full-blown invincibility to everything. Magic, they're just invincible. God calls, and a big fucking bubble pops around them. You know, I forget even what the name of it is. It's so dumb. I've always hated it so much. It's so shitty. It shuts the gameplay down. So then your team, doesn't matter what they are, because you're fighting TSG, they're gonna win. It doesn't matter what your team is. Your team tries to kill their Holy Paladin, and yeah, you do more damage than they do, because they're hitting you with pain sup and stuff. So they go and try and hit the Holy Paladin. The Holy Paladin bubbles, right? Then they come back and they hit me again. The flow of battle changes, and their team, now that they know that their Holy Paladin mitigated 100% of all damage for 5 whole seconds of shit when everybody busts their cooldowns. The Holy Paladin's not an idiot. The Holy Paladin's watching the fucking DK and the fucking Ret at the same time. The fucking Holy Paladin sees, or whatever it is, the Shadow Priest and the Lock or whatever, and the Holy Paladin sees the other team bust all their DPS cooldowns and target him and suddenly hard switch and go nuts, and the Holy Paladin bubbles. And the worst part is the Shadow and the Lock are gonna dump fucking 10 dots each, and all the Paladin has to do is press one fucking bubble to one button, one bubble, and it erases the last 45 seconds of the Shadow Warlock, the Shadow Priests and the Warlock's work. Which is just insane. That's fucking insane. On top of it, the bubble removes all dots and bleeds, which is it still is the most overpowered thing in World of Warcraft. It's the most overpowered thing in any video game ever, and it needed to be nerfed like year 1 of like TBC, but they didn't because all the fucking fanboys rolled Paladin season 1, season 2, and they made it so crucial to the fucking what's it called? Wrath of the Lich King story with you know, the Lich King and all this. And Paladins were such a big deal. There was like Trial of the Grand Crusade, which had like a Paladin boss. There was all these things about Paladins or fighting each other up in the mortal realm or what, you know, in the immortal realm and all this stuff. And yeah, Paladin had their heyday. Paladin got Consecrate. Paladin doesn't pay the hybrid tax. Paladin has a nice DPS class called Ret, and Paladin has a nice healer class called Holy, and it has a nice tank class called Prot. Paladin gets everything in the World of Warcraft, and then on top of them, Paladin gets invincibility. Now, Mage gets invincibility too as well, called Frost Block, but we don't care about Frost Block. It also removes dots and bleeds, but we don't care about Frost Block for Mage because they don't pay the hybrid tax. The fucking Paladin does, and honestly the bubble is far more powerful than the Frost Block, even though the Paladin doesn't pay the hybrid tax. You know, it's crazy. I'm sorry, yeah, even though the Paladin is supposed to pay the hybrid tax, they don't. So in the hybrid tax, if you don't know what that is if you can do everything, tanking, healing, and DPS, you shouldn't get nice things like Paladin Bubble. You just shouldn't get that because you can do anything in the game. So if you're a jack of all trades, master of none, you shouldn't get nice things like Holy Paladin Bubble. So after a while, I was so against Paladin, I felt like they would whisper me, being like, please, 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 come into 3s, we need you. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to play with a Paladin. I would seriously say that. But I ended up, all my best friends, Bagon, my friend Kaiser, my 2s partner for 7 years or something like that, my friend Pap, all these other fucking people that I knew in the PvP arena situation and stuff, all my boys from Kill It Please, they all went Paladin. All these shithead people went Paladin. Also, a ton of them were right-wing too. They thought that they liked the idea of a religious zealot. They like the idea of a religious zealot that has holy powers and stuff, and I don't blame them. Whatever, it is a cool bit of magic and lore. It is, but like, anyways, so he complains about Zarya because of the same reasons that I complain about Paladin, which is a bubble that makes your teammate fucking invincible for 3 or 5 seconds. And that's insane. And the cooldown on it was like 8 seconds or something like that. That's insane. Zarya fucking sucked back then. And on top of that, they ran goats, which is Zarya and Brig and I believe it's Wednesday. I forget what goats is now. What was the goats comp? I can't even remember what the classes were anymore. It's been so long. It's only been 5 years, but I mean, I don't remember. Like, being a streamer erases your brain. It's so stupid. What classes made up the goats composition in Overwatch? I can't remember. It was Zarya. It was all tanks. It was like Brig and Zarya, and I want to say Diva, maybe. I can't remember what goats was, but it was terrible. The goats era was terrible. It was a 3 tank, 3 support lineup. It was Reinhardt, Zarya, and Diva, and then Brig, Lucio, and Zenyatta. And it is a cheater-ass comp because Lucio's hitting everybody. Brigitte can stun and shoot med kits and stuff, and her Inspire passive provides constant healing while she brawled in the front line. And because there's a Lucio with her and a Zen, the Brig isn't dying. The Brig can just go in and melee with the other melees, which is Reinhardt and, you know, essentially Diva. I mean, she's basically a shotgun class. Yeah, she has to be a little bit closer. Her missiles go really far, but she's a much closer range like fighter. So she's a brawler. So yeah, Diva and Reinhardt come rushing in with the Brig, and they're all just like wailing. And this won Overwatch competitions and stuff. It was really powerful. And so he's complaining about this thing. Zarya used her bubbles to protect Reinhardt and herself and Brig while they just went around meleeing Invincible. And it was an intentional thing that they did. We used to do this sort of stuff in Arena too. I ran so many crazy experimental comps that were based around one spell or something like that. It's kind of crazy. It's like, you know, if you want to be up at the top of the ladder, you have to run experimental comps that are the meta before anybody knows what the meta is that season or whatever.
Roster permanently.
Zarya was the meta and still kind of is for a long time, although I don't dislike Zarya, and I'll tell you why. It's easy as fuck to kill Zarya. If you focus DPS on Zarya at all, she fucking dies. The bubble won't save her. You know, that's the other thing about Zarya. She's actually a fairly weak tank. If you put a soldier and if you only put 2 DPS on her, if the 2 DPS are competent at all and they focus damage on Zarya, she will fucking die. She can't tank shit. She's not a tank. She's like a support tank. You know, she's an off tank. She's always been an off tank, but then finally in Overwatch 2, they gave her the abilities to bubble herself. She was never able to bubble herself for a long time. But in Overwatch 2, they decided she should be a main tank because they made it 5 people. And, you know, and she is a good off tank still, but I wouldn't think of her still as a main, because if your DPS are competent at all, if they come jumping in some way where the Zarya doesn't seem them coming, if the soldier comes up on the roof and suddenly sprays the Zarya and hydras her, the fucking, and that's a lot of damage. That's like 280 damage or something. She's down to like 220 or something like that. If the Reaper hits 2 headshots, she's gone. And that's not hard for a Reaper. He just jumps in on top of her, fucking goes blah blah with a shotgun twice. And if they're competent, if they play Call of Duty all day, they'll do shit like that. If they play League and fucking Call of Duty all day and they're thirsty and PvPers and they play competitive and they talk shit and they sit in their discords and they're thirsty men or whatever it is, they will jump in and kill that Zarya. I've seen enough. That's why I won't play her. She can't tank for shit. She's this person that's meant to give winning advantages to others. She's never been this real tank, is why I don't play her at all. I won't play her. Excuse me for just a second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, and so, anyways, sorry, I got my mind blown by a phone call. But yeah, and these metas, they're harmful to the games. It's like that person gets to cheat and doesn't lose that season. It's shitty. Metas are harmful to fucking games. They really are. I don't like them. I don't ride them. I don't care about them. I don't care what some piece of shit says about them or whatever, or how it gives them an advantage or whatever. It just makes it so one person has an advantage, and that's just not really fair. It's not really fair. It immediately, games of skill between humans should always be fair. Is that a weird attitude? If you're in gaming and you're playing a game in a competition against another human being, I think both of the people should always have equal ground. Otherwise, what's the point of playing the fucking game? The person with the advantage just wins. That's why metas are fucking stupid. They've always been stupid. The meta should always be just solid team play, situational awareness. You can do it with any character or any class, etc. That's what the meta should be. But instead, it's Zarya has invincible bubbles this season, or they can do 3 tanks, so they do, or they can do, etc. And all that stupid ass shit, and that's fucking stupid. But it's like, that not every other team is gonna run 3 tanks. That's not gonna happen. So they eventually just changed the rule, but it took them 5 years to change the rule because they fired, what's his name? Jeff Kaplan. And so that's how I feel about this. Now, he complains about Zarya for the same reason I complain about Paladin, and complaining about Paladin is not popular on World of Warcraft. That's like talking shit about Donald Trump or something. It's not popular. I mean, it's popular, but like in the media with the liberals and stuff, but it's not popular in the real world to talk shit about Trump. You might get some right-wingers being like, kind of like being kind of mouthy with you. And it's like, it's not popular to talk shit about the fucking meta. It's not popular to talk shit about Paladin on World of Warcraft. It's not popular to talk shit about Zarya. You're not going to get a good reception to that because people love their little cheating devices. They love their little advantages that they're given by the developer. It's all part of the live service game. It's all in the game.
All right, I can feel people hovering over the dislike on this opinion.
No. See, it's not popular to have an opinion that Paladin fucking sucks dick and so does Zarya. I won't play either. I'm sorry, it's not popular to say that, but I won't. I've never played a Paladin. It's the only class I haven't played in any of these games. It's like, I will not play a Paladin. I know that they've got the IPQ JCW, God mode sheet from Doom. And I'm just like, I won't play with a Paladin. I won't fight a Paladin. For some reason, the piece of shit developer gave them an advantage over everybody else. So we just look at Paladins as anybody who rolls them as really weak people. And I'm sorry, but it's just like how I view it, that same thing about Zarya back in the day. And he came by this opinion honestly, and he knows what he's talking about. And I feel the same way.
Mostly because I was a Roadhog main as well.
I was a Reinhardt main, and I saw that Zarya can make other people invincible, and I couldn't. All I could do is throw a fire blast, block damage, which helps the team so much. Let me tell you, blocking damage, it helps the team, but not very much. It doesn't really help the team to stand there and soak up damage. That just makes the opponent have more ult. It doesn't really benefit it benefits the team when there's like a widow shooting. Oh my God, leave me the fuck alone. Excuse me for just a second. I am informed that I lost control and I've got to go do a bunch of stupid real life errand shit for like 2 or 3 hours here. I'm terribly sorry. So I get to be on for this was I have 38 minutes, I believe, but I don't know where I'm going, and I've got to find... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Being a good family man, whatever.
Why would you have a character that has an insane...
Turns out today I've got an automotive inspection at the mechanics, and I didn't know. I didn't know until fucking 1 hour. I had 1 hour's notice, you know? And it's been there for weeks. I knew it was coming. I just didn't remember that it was today. And I'm just resentful when I shouldn't be, because it's like I've known about this for weeks. I've known that I was going to have to go do this. So I feel like it's dropped on me, because it was. Neither one of us remembered that I had to do this, but it is today. We have an appointment with the mechanic today, which is so fucking annoying. I just got started, and it just pushes my day later and later and later and later. And I've got to be back up tomorrow at 7 a.m. If you want me up at 7 a.m., Jesus fucking Christ.
Amount of health, and also has a bubble shield that makes them invulnerable. That has a cool
skill issue. Just don't shoot the bubble. No, it's an invincibility bubble, and it was worthless piece of shit Blizzard design. Paladin was worthless piece of shit Blizzard design. No, it's not his fault, and he shouldn't have to work around it. The bubble shouldn't give you invincibility. It's fucking stupid. It was a poor choice. It's indicative of the poor choices that Blizzard makes. It's the same old Paladin bubble, you know?
Down of like 3 seconds so they can just
no, it's not a skill issue, and that's what piece of shit competitive players are gonna say, because they're negative. But a positive person understands that the developer is the fucking problem. It's the invincibility bubble. It was never the shooting. It's never shooting the Zarya. It's never shooting the Zarya. Sure, don't shoot the Zarya while her bubble's up, but it's also like, fuck the Paladin bubble. What the fuck was it, motherfucker? You can put on that fucking Zarya bubble and you can get shot in the head by a Widow 3 times. 3 times! None of the rest of us can get shot in the head by a fucking Widow 3 times. Fuck the invincibility bubble. Fuck Jeff Kaplan. And fuck Blizzard. Fuck them and their stupid these indicative problems of greater fucking incompetency. What fucking video game gives a player in a live service invincibility, you fucking morons? Fucking piece of shit. Cocksucker. Brain dead developers.
End up spamming it constantly. I will say one thing Overwatch does have nailed down is inclusivity, because we basically got the soldier from TF2, but a female version. So the reason why this fell apart from the obvious that this never would have worked anyway, is they reached out to a bunch of billionaire investors, basically too many to count. They over-marketed it as this be-all and end-all. By the way, I know people are going to notice this immediately and probably think it's like a nicotine patch or something. What it actually is a dopamine patch full of essential herbs and minerals. Does it do anything for me? No, it doesn't, but I'm going to wear it anyway. But yeah, they basically over-marketed this, saying that, you know, oh, this Overwatch game, bro, it's going to be bigger than the NFL. I think what a lot of people don't realize about taking down huge companies or trying to outcompete them, it really is because that they already have their tendrils in.
He's got something called dysphoria. It's all that social media and fucking shit he does. It's dysphoria. I had it for many years until I hit rock bottom. It's the inability to feel joy about anything. It's all that social media, all those video games, all this work, all this streaming, all that stuff he does. It is a crippling affliction that causes dysphoria, and I mean it is dysphoria. It's called dysphoria, and it's this thing where you can't feel joy. It's like God's DNA programming to prevent you from overworking yourself to death.
In pretty much every aspect of that market anyway.
Like there's DNA imperatives. I would call them DNA imperatives that have been baked into humanity since dawn immemorial, that prevent us from doing stupid shit like working ourselves to death, or trying to live underwater, or trying to live in space, or trying to live in deserts and stuff like this. There's like ingrained things about our DNA build that like totally prevents us from doing stuff like working ourselves to death. And it's this dysphoria thing. When you work too hard and you expose yourself to the same thing too much, and you keep going and going and grinding, eventually you become joyless because you just don't find any innovation or inspiration or variety or anything like that. And it causes dysphoria, and it is a crippling psychological problem.
And as applicable as Overwatch.
And so he goes to the dopamine patch, but he needs to go to therapy and hit rock bottom.
Was to many demographics, like women who played as a...
Actually, it's probably the therapist that recommended the dopamine patch, which is kind of crazy.
Mercy main, you really just can't compete with how publicly accessible and the heritage, I guess, of the NFL. And because of this focus on this Overwatch team, they had to take all their focus away from working on Overwatch 2, which he cites as one of the reasons why, when that came out, it was an absolute disaster.
The day I got back, they said we signed this huge deal with Twitch for streaming of Overwatch League, like a media rights deal. And that means that here's all these commitments we made for Overwatch League of like in-game stuff that exists. Like a lot of it was integration with Twitch and camera control and that kind of stuff. The other part of it was a bunch of skins, you know, uniforms for all the teams, which was not just getting the art in the game, but there was huge technical challenges to how all that worked and was efficient and hit the right, you know, memory footprint and all of that kind of stuff. All of your plans at that point kind of go out the window.
My name Jeff basically said that this company got way too greedy, and instead of investing in the fans and their time and dedication and all the little loot crates they opened, they just wanted to make as much money as possible incredibly quickly. Now, usually you want to do that if you know that your company's falling apart. This is not at the point where Overwatch started to lose its player base yet. So while people like Jeff, from his opinion, wanted to save Overwatch and create like an even bigger space for players and keep adding new characters that actually, you know, meant something, Blizzard, on the other hand, wanted to do the equivalent of the Haley Welch rug pull. Also, I've heard confirmed reports she's gone to bed. Could someone please check on the Hawk Tour girl? I want to know that she's okay. I hope she doesn't go to bed again for too long.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick, but anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
He also used the podcast to promote his new game, The Legend of California, which is apparently a game set in California, but not during the current era of California. Thank God for that, Jesus Christ. Apparently it's set in the Gold Rush era instead. And while he was live streaming that game, a certain comment that he made went even more viral than the podcast, where he was basically responding to like toxic discourse about video games.
I never understand being hostile about it or being rude about it, but I understand being upset. And
you don't understand why we're hostile and rude about it. Your piece of shit cocksucker brain dead Zarya bubbles cost us hundreds of hours in competitive. You don't know why I'm fucking pissed and rude about it? You're a piece of shit then. Fuck you. There it is. Sorry. Hostile. I'm hostile about it. You steal our time with your incompetence, piece of shit. Sorry if it's negative and really, really active, fucking like bad for your psyche or whatever. I don't care. Motherfucker, don't steal our time with terrible invincibility bubbles that our opponents use, like as some kind of like proof that they're good somehow. They can't. They're using the bubbles. You know, they can't prove that they're good. It's weird. It's just like, the bubble's good. The bubble's good. It wins arena matches. It wins competitive matches. The bubbles are good. You know. The player isn't. And that's the problem. You came in as a developer and you gave one side a greater advantage. And we get fucking hostile about it because you really didn't need to do that. You didn't need to make, you know, Pally Bubble. You didn't need to do that. You did it for WoW, you did it on Overwatch, and you ruined both games. You know, it's that advantage that one side gets it, the other one doesn't.
understand voicing your opinion, but like if a game comes out and you don't want to play it and you've never played it, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Who cares about my opinion if I'm not going to play it? And if I've never played it? Like, why does my opinion matter on that?
If anything, to me, he's probably mentioned something like that because of the, you know, the high guard situation. If you don't know what high guard, no, I'm not explaining it. You really thought I was going to pad the video anymore? Fuck off. There's no way. Like, dude, if anyone watches this video and they have to be like, you know, introduced to what high guard is, my God, you either, just fuck off.
How could you do this to me?
So at the minute, we've got everyone's favorite streamer to hate. No, not that one. We're getting to him afterwards, don't worry. But Rakai, what has he been up to? So Rakai has the reputation at the minute that he isn't incredibly smart. Now, I'm not talking about the IQ of the average streamer. Like, I get it. Like, I'm pretty dense. But this guy is being clowned on for not knowing that eggs come from chickens.
You know where eggs come from?
Chickens. Chickens.
Oh, these are eggs right here. But these eggs right here, we're gonna eat. Where do they come from?
Chickens. They come from chickens. Where else do they come from?
You telling me right now that this egg we're gonna eat right here is from a chicken butthole? Come on, chicken.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know what people are going to say.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a clip farm. This is the entire thing that people do now. Like, for example, that's...
And it's not... The kid's not dumb. He's not dumb. That's the other thing. It's not that he's dumb. Too much social media. The only thing he cares about is social media. It's just like video games or something like that. If you only focus on one thing, then you are dumb about everything else.
Stream with clavicular and androgenic, and he's adjusting his shoulder guards, and then, you know, everyone goes, oh my god, he's faking having muscles. Like, it's very obviously a clip farm to get people talking about it. But I think this is the exception, because I genuinely believe that Rakai is just this dense. He somehow began his New Vegas playthrough with 0 in intelligence, 0 in charisma, and then he lost all the other points and basically just started with 0 stat on anything. He also got into a fight with another streamer called Reggie after Reggie destroyed his streaming setup.
What? What the fuck?
PC good. The PC good.
What?
PC good.
What?
And then he gifted himself $6,000 worth of Twitch subs from Phantom's own account.
All right, two more.
He also released his own shoe with Under Armour, which to me looks like those people that get the eye color changing surgery, and they are so happy. Genuinely, they love the color green that they got. They're definitely not hiding the tears or anything. Now, okay, sure, you can say that everything I just said prior is a clip farm. Sure, okay, I agree with you. What isn't a clip farm is when you fly too close to the sun and you get a ban on Twitch, which is exactly what happened when he leaked the phone number of an NBA player, LaMelo Ball. This leak happened when he was opening his Instagram DMs with LaMelo while he was streaming, and LaMelo probably found out pretty much immediately, mostly because he probably had 20,000 calls within 5 seconds, and he DM'd Rakai this. I do like all the anger that LaMelo is sending to Rakai here, and he just replies by saying, "It was a accident." It was a accident. And when Rakai responds to him, he doesn't actually know how to spell the word accident, so he has to use dictation for it.
Accident. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, bro.
And then later that day, he did post a tweet showing that he got a 30-day ban tagging LaMelo. And also on top of that, apparently, according to Twitch's rep, if he gets banned again, that's going to be permanent. So it's really obvious that Twitch do not want him on the platform. It's all right. He'll get a kick deal. He'll be totally fine.
I read about did you say want?
And now I think it's time to catch up with another streamer that I talked about recently, the Faithful Sheriff. He's obviously quite a controversial streamer, most notably for yoinking the Burnt Peanut's entire character, trying to integrate himself into the Burnt Peanut lore to mooch off him, and also going around preaching to people the word of God. Now, the most recent update I could find is apparently he's planning to sue the YouTubers Super Mega for defamation for posting fake DMs. Now, keep in mind, him trying to convert people to Christianity, that was the thing that he was doing for a while, and honestly, I think if there's a discussion there, there's not really an issue at all. But he became ultra infamous after yoinking the Burnt Peanut's character, and then there's various clips of him floating around defending the war in Iran.
And to be honest, Iran should have been 30 years ago, because they are the only nation that constantly says death to America, and has legitimately said they will nuke people if they get their hands on a nuke.
And then also trying to like convince a kid
will nuke. They are the only nation that constantly says death to America, and has legitimately said they will nuke people if they get their hands on a nuke.
And then also trying to like convince a kid in Fortnite about ice.
Oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? You got any ideas?
A fireman or SWAT team.
Ooh. that's cool. Maybe we could work for ICE.
Both of these while using the peanut filter, so it just reaches multiple layers of irony. Now, Super Mega have been going around for a while. They are old head YouTubers, and they posted a tweet of the Faithful Sheriff with this caption: "The Faithful Sheriff asked us to recreate this image using his likeness so he can feel more included." And if you're wondering what's so funny about this image, there's a penis edited onto his avatar. Now, originally, he actually responded thinking, okay, this is pretty funny. But then things turned a little bit sour when he came back an hour later and basically said he doesn't know Super Mega and he never asked for Matt or Ryan to post that image. And then Super Mega kept going, basically saying, "You requested us to do this for you." And then he replied going, no, I didn't, before then doubling down and posting a screenshot of a fake DM from the Faithful Peanut. Like, I just called him Faithful Peanut and it's Faithful Sheriff, like, Jesus Christ. But basically in this fake DM, he's basically making it out that the Faithful Sheriff was asking them to make this image, as well as sending a picture of his real life penis as a model. Again, all of this is fake, but this is what mind broke the Faithful Sheriff. He became the Faithful Vigilante. He basically tweeted at Super Mega saying, "If you don't admit that this isn't real and don't take down the tweet, if you're not complying, I'm going to get a lawyer and send you a cease and desist." And then the next morning, he posted a clip from his stream talking about the situation, saying that, "I thought it was funny. It was a joke for all of us, right? You're not laughing at me, right? No, you're not laughing at me. We're laughing together, right?"
At first, I thought it was funny, and I was like, haha, okay, they're posting this as a joke, haha, okay, yeah, that's funny, cool, haha. They said that the Faithful Sheriff asked us to recreate his image using his likeness so he can feel more included. As some of you might know, this is a recreation of a burnt peanut image of his private parts. The problem is I never talked to these guys, I never asked for this. So obviously I thought it was a joke. I thought they were just kidding. So I responded. And then today, 10 hours ago, they posted dude and they posted this, obviously photoshopped because I never DM'd them at all. So I think this is just a smear campaign by Super Mega to try to get, people to see me as not a genuine Christian content creator or something like that.
But now he's kind of realized that he's being made fun of again. And he thinks that they're trying to basically run a smear campaign to ruin his image as a Christian content creator. All I'm going to say about this entire thing, I don't think it's Super Mega that is causing this guy to have a bad rep. I think that's a very small that is probably about 2% of the reason why people are just laughing at this guy online at the minute. Then he shows the real DMs of him asking Super Mega to take the post down. But yeah, I mean, at this point in time, he still seems pretty keen on, if Super Mega don't take it down, he's gonna pursue legal action. Will anything happen? Nothing ever happens.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So the 98th Academy Awards ceremony took place on Sunday. One battle after another won Best Picture. Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor for his role in Sinners. And Timothée Chalamet, he got nothing. He got absolutely nothing. There were actually so many jokes that were made at Timothée Chalamet's expense during that ceremony. That's because he made an offhanded remark while on a show with Matthew McConaughey that was really out of touch. It was shutting down other people in the industry. And you could even see Matthew McConaughey being like, all right, fucking stop. All right.
And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. But,
I mean, Timothée Chalamet probably has a bit of an ego right now. Most people in his situation would. He's basically the #1 actor for his age in Hollywood right now. He's basically Vox from Has Been Hotel if Vox had a jawline. That was really forced. Oh, that was really... God, that was fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. Now, the ceremony was hosted by Conan O'Brien, one of the only late-night TV funny men that's actually funny. And he made this completely irony-pilled joke trying to appeal to the younger demographic, the people that scroll on IG Reels.
We here at the Oscars are always trying to figure out ways to reach a younger demographic. And I've been assured this next segment will do just that. When you're host mastering the Oscars and genuinely trying to rizz up the younger demographic by going brain rot mode, and even though you're unk-coated with a bunch of fame-filled NPCs, you're still S-tier level aura farming 6-7. Well, That's a message that the young people will definitely see watching broadcast television.
Now, you may have noticed that he said low-kenuanly, not low-Kirkuanly, which was obviously mocking Charlie Kirk. People on Twitter asked about this, and then the comedian who wrote that monologue alongside Conan basically said, because people asked, what does the Kirk mean? They also played a skit at the end of the ceremony where Conan is given the role of host for life, but at the very end then gets replaced by Mr. Teeth. Now, I know we've talked about a lot of streamer drama, so why stop now? You may remember the streamer Action Man. He actually had a small cameo when I did a recent recap on Joshua Block World of T-shirts. This particular clip where Josh is so blackout drunk that he is mistaking his phone with a block of cream cheese.
I'm trying to open my phone, but it doesn't want to.
Well, that's not your phone. That's a huge piece of cream cheese.
Or this other clip where he orders a burger and starts eating the box.
Dude, he's missing the burger. Yeah, he's eating the box.
I want it.
Take you to bed or not? All right, eat your burger then, bro. Eat the burger.
Action Man is the guy on the right to Josh, and he's always been known throughout the community to have a bit of a substance use problem. There was another clip from his stream going around with the caption saying that he relapsed on fentanyl with a random homeless guy he met on the street after being clean for 15 years. Now, the problem is with all these gimmick accounts that keep posting clips from streams, I've noticed something recently that's probably happened more than ever in the past 6 months. The captions are just fucking fake. They just lie. They'll say a caption that will get people to quote tweet it or to, share it or interact with it, and there is no truth to it. And no one actually cares to do any investigation because you see a funny caption, you like it, and then you...
How long is this drive? Oh no, is it a player? No. How long is this drive? It is... Oh, this is close, huh? I mean, yeah, it's just in town, huh? Nice, this isn't far. So, never mind, I'm gonna come...
keep scrolling, you don't care, and then you probably forget about it 5 minutes later. Much like how this morning you probably woke up and watched a bunch of motivational Instagram reels and then forgot 5 seconds later. Now, this caption is complete bullshit, but there is actually some truth to it. So Action Man, his real name is Aaron Travis. He's publicly discussed his past struggles with heroin, even saying himself on Twitter that when he started streaming, he was actually 6 days sober from a 10-year addiction to heroin. On a recent podcast, he actually said that he was 9 years clean from heroin, but also stating that he wasn't completely sober.
I mean, how do you, stay sober?
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sober.
For sure, but I mean, stay
I'm
off heroin. How do you... Does it call to you every now and then? Or? Really?
Never. I never think about it.
And obviously, it's really...
Lie. That's a lie. It's a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. Why? How does that lie serve either? Does it make you look better in the public? No, I don't think about heroin. Yes, you do. Don't fucking lie.
Commendable when anyone can actually get sober from drugs or just...
It's this never-ending, burning desire in the background. You don't think about it. It's just there. It's like, man, I'd rather be high right now.
Any kind of substance use. I mean, one example I can think of is the actor David Mastalchian. If you don't know who he is, you've definitely seen him, but in mainstream films, he's always had a very, very small role. He's been in The Dark Knight. He's been in Prisoners. He was in Blade Runner, but again, these are more just kind of cameos, if anything. But one of his most popular films, where he is actually a main character, is Late Night with the Devil, that came out back in 2020.
That guy is a really fucking good actor. I know him as the villain in the show Happy, and he was probably the creepiest goddamn villain I've ever seen in a fucking show, you know?
3, I just think he's a really versatile actor.
Nope, I think he plays villains, and I think he does very well.
He did talk about his issues with heroin abuse and how he just went completely clean. So obviously when this gimmick account came out with this post of him, you know, overdosing on fentanyl, people got a little bit worried. If it's, you know, alcohol, we've seen it with Joshua Block. If it's weed, it's most streamers. If it's cocaine, it's probably most streamers. But fentanyl seems to be this other power level, mostly because you need like a microgram compared to other drugs to basically just kill you immediately. But he did actually respond to the clip himself, saying that what he bought was an over-the-counter legal pill, saying that he had no idea it was going to be that strong. Doubling down, saying that he doesn't remember any of it, and W stream. I have no idea what kind of pill that he's talking about. I know America has like a variety of like these gas station pills that you take that don't even have the ingredients listed on the back of them, like really dodgy stuff. So maybe it was something.
There is like full-blown heroin pills out there at the gas stations. I forget the name, but yeah, it's common.
Like that. Now, to stop talking about streamer drama, I want to talk about Pokemon drama. You might remember Pokemon Go, the game that managed to somehow get everyone out of the house in 2016. Then it kind of fell off. Then lockdown happened and everyone went outside again. And then it kind of fell off again. But at its peak, it reached 232 million active players. That was probably most people having 3 phones going around sweating to try and catch shinies. Now, you might be delighted to know that while you were Pokemon going to the polls, the app wasn't only collecting your data, because unfortunately we're also fucking normalized to that now, it was actually collecting photos and scans to build a 30 billion image database, which is now being used to create an AI map of the world. And it's apparently going to be used for delivery robots. Now, Pokemon Go is currently owned by the company Scopely, but it was originally owned by Niantic. And Niantic founded this AI offshoot called Niantic Spatial. Niantic Spatial has been using these images and metadata captured by Pokemon Go players to create this massive crowdsourced database. And it can pinpoint locations of where you are on the map within a few centimeters, simply based off snapshots of buildings. So yeah, it's really good to know that this company is going to make billions of dollars off of all of your backs. So apparently at first, they're going to use this for food delivery robots. They're going to team up with this company called Coco Robotics, which describes itself as the world's largest fleet of self-driving delivery vehicles. They claim to run like 1,000 delivery bots in LA, Chicago, New Jersey, Miami, Helsinki as well. And they move along the sidewalks at a absolutely blazing 5 miles an hour. And they can even hold up to 8 large pizzas or even several grocery bags. You wouldn't order 8 pizzas, would you? Not in a single sitting, you fat bastard. I mean, especially in America, these AI delivery robots, they aren't anything special. Like, they've been around for quite a while. They're usually called last mile delivery robots because they're only really capable of handling the very last portion of a delivery. The company, of course, has been working very closely with OpenAI as well. Like in June last year, Coco Robotics received $80 million of investment from OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, and then also his brother, Max. I will never let go that Sam Altman, the creator of AI, shares the exact same surname with a guy in Dead Space that died, and he was basically martyred as some false prophet for a religion. Like, I will never get over that. That is a very niche reference. Hopefully someone watching this understands that reference. They also announced this research partnership with OpenAI, saying that they're going to share insights gained from their technologies, which I'm assuming includes everyone's Pokemon Go data. Now, according to Coco Robotics CEO, the robots struggle to use GPS in dense urban areas, which is apparently a huge problem, and the only way it can be solved is by using people's Pokemon Go data. Do you hear that? That's cope. Now, Niantic Spatial, the Pokemon company, has apparently been training its model based on
Oh yeah, that is Niantic, huh? Niantic is an interesting thing. They came up with the first GPS-based game. I used to play it. It was kind of fun. It was a fun little Empire game. What games has Niantic made? What games has Niantic made? I can't remember the name of it. Real world exploration, right? Ingress. I used to play Ingress Prime. Yeah, Ingress, right? Or, well, Ingress, yeah, is what I remember it as. It's a capture the flag game where players join either the Enlightened or the Resistance to control portals at real-world landmarks. A more recent pet sim AR game, Peridot, where you raise unique genetically diverse creatures called dots. In 2025, they launched Hello Dot as a mixed reality experience for this franchise. Major games. While Niantic's original teams still work on these, they're officially part of the Scopely, which is portfolio, which is Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, and Pikmin Bloom, a no-stress walking companion where you grow flowers and collect Pikmin as you move. Pikmin Bloom. Let's go see what it looks like.
So I reached level 46. I've been playing since day one. It is time I make a guide / pro tips on Pikmin Bloom. First things first, do not send postcards. Okay, maybe that's a bit much. Let me clarify. Be careful who you send postcards to, because you are literally sending one of your own Pikmin to that friend, and you're not getting that Pikmin back until that friend accepts the postcard. But here's the thing. What if they quit the game? You didn't know. You need a nectar of any kind. 6. That plan doesn't work anymore. I gotta keep finding. By the way, there's an option to enable to see other players planting flowers too. Now let's say you want to delete any flowers you planted, especially if maybe you planted it in your house and you don't want other players to see those flowers. And it will drop fruit, giving you nectar of that kind of flower that bloomed. So here's the thing, if you plant pansy flowers within the circle, there's a chance that flower will bloom into a rose. And then it'll drop fruit to give you rose nectar. Now, while it's cool to have rose Pikmin, there's no advantage using rose Pikmin over pansy Pikmin. They're worth the same points when it comes to mushroom challenges. Now then, let's talk about expeditions. The amount of time it takes for your Pikmin to retrieve an item depends on how far it is from your current position. If I were to walk or drive closer to it, the estimated time will be reduced. Likewise, if I were to walk or drive away...
I would never ever use gasoline to play Pikmin Go. I believe that to be immoral in the current stage. In the current world stage, I believe it to be immoral to use gasoline to play Pikmin Go. Okay, this other Tristan is not worthless anymore. I'm going to go back to it and use it. Good. Well, I'm going to tune down. I've got to go to the mechanics. I'll be back in like 2.5 hours, I think, something like that. I love you guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and I will see you in a little bit. I'm not drinking because I have tons of fucking shit I have to do. I'm probably going to be okay.